Walk into a Harbor Freight tomorrow and you can buy a brand new gasoline engine for $150. It is called a Predator 212. It sits on a wooden pallet and it is the heart of nearly every cheap generator and pressure washer sold in America. Now walk across the parking lot to Home Depot and you can buy a 3,500 watt portable generator for $599. Open the side panel. The engine inside is the same engine, same factory, same city in China, same company. We are going to expose how 5 factories in one Chinese city secretly power almost every sub-$500 generator, pressure washer, and tiller sold in America, and show you the only 3 engines actually worth paying real money for. If you have walked the generator aisle at Home Depot recently, you might believe you are looking at a competitive marketplace. You see Champion, Westinghouse, AI Power, Pulsar, Firman, Duramax, WAN. You assume these are different American companies competing to build a better machine for your family. That is an illusion. Almost every one of those engines is built in a single industrial cluster in Chongqing, China, by 5 companies most American consumers have never heard of. Their names are Lonson, Zhongshan, Lifen, Rado, and Dukar. Westinghouse is not made by the historic Westinghouse Electric Corporation. The brand is licensed to a company called MWE Investments, headquartered at 777 Manor Park Drive, Columbus, Ohio. The Federal Trade Commission, in its own complaint matter 222-30-012, calls them a manufacturer and licensor of the Westinghouse brand, Mark. Firman is a division of SUMEC, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Sinomac, a Fortune Global 500 enterprise directly managed by the central government of the People's Republic of China. And if you go to Champion's own website and download the owner's manual for their 10302 inverter generator, you will see on the cover, in capital letters, the words, "Made in China." Champion is not hiding it. They are betting you will never look. Because while you have been picking between brand names, the actual builders have been quietly consolidating into something much smaller and much more powerful. The story of how this happened starts in 1979, inside a Mao-era weapons factory. Roughly 20 technicians at China Jialing Industrial, a munitions plant operating since 1875, bought 3 Honda PA-50 mopeds. They took them apart on the shop floor. In 4.5 months, they hand-built a copy. They called it the Red Rooster. From that one bootleg moped grew the city that today produces 7.85 million motorcycles a year, 35% of China's total output. 1 in every 3 Chinese motorcycles exported to the rest of the world is built in Chongqing. The 5 companies that dominate small engine manufacturing, the ones that end up inside your American-branded generator, all sit within taxi distance of one another in that city. The biggest of them is Lonson Motor, founded in 1993 by Tu Jianhua. Lonson is publicly traded on the Shanghai Exchange, employs roughly 10,500 people, and produces 3 million engines a year. And here is where the story stops being about cheap generators. Lonson is the exclusive supplier of the 853 cubic centimeter parallel twin in BMW Motorrad's F750 GS, F850 GS, and F900 Adventure motorcycles. The same factory that builds the engine in your $150 Harbor Freight Predator generator also builds the heart of a $13,000 BMW. But Lonson's record is not spotless. On January 11, 2012, the United States Environmental Protection Agency fined Lonson USA $680,000 for importing 7,115 motorcycles and ATVs into the United States with falsified emission certificates. Same company, same factory, same engineers, powering BMW and powering your generator. Here is the part the brands do not want you to know. In January 1983, Honda introduced the GX engine. It was a small 4-stroke single-cylinder design with a 25-degree inclined cylinder, an overhead valve, and a cast iron sleeve. It became the gold standard. Every contractor, every rental yard, every commercial pressure washer in America ran on a Honda GX. But Honda's utility patents on the design expired around the year 2000. Then Honda made a critical mistake. They tried to trademark the shape of the engine itself. In December 2017, the United States Trademark Trial and Appeal Board ruled in Kohler versus Honda that Honda could not trademark the cubic shape of its own engine. The board found the shape was essential to the use or purpose of the engine. In other words, the engine looks the way it looks because that is the only way an engine like this can look. After 2017, Chinese factories could legally copy not just the dimensions, but the entire visual identity of a Honda GX. And they did. The 212 cubic centimeter engine you find inside the Predator at Harbor Freight, the Champion at Costco, the Westinghouse at Home Depot, the Pulsar at Lowe's, is a dimensional clone of the Honda GX 200, not similar, not inspired by, dimensionally identical. A Honda original equipment carburetor, part number 16100ZH8W61, bolts directly onto a Predator 212 without modification. The mounting bolt pattern is the same. The output shaft is the same 3/4 inch keyed output shaft. The interchangeability is so complete that the World Karting Association sanctions an entire racing class called Clone Class, where engines from Predator, Lonson, Lifon, Ducar, and Rato all compete head-to-head on the same track. But it gets worse. The Chinese clones are so dimensionally identical to each other that mechanics use one brand's parts to repair another. A New Zealand small engine dealer named Shane Newman, who has sold both Lonson and Lifon engines for over a decade, put it bluntly on the Mini Riders forum. In 8 years of selling Lonsons, I have never had to fix a single one under warranty. I still sell lots of Lonson parts to fix up Lifons. That sentence tells you everything. Different brand names on the cover, same parts in the box. The markup math is what should make you angry. A 212 engine at the factory gate in Chongqing costs about $50 to $70 in container quantity. Add a generator head, a steel frame, a plastic fuel tank, a wiring harness, wheels, packaging. Total bill of materials about $140 to $190. Add ocean freight, the 25% section, 301 tariff, and U.S. distribution, and the landed cost to the retailer is $210 to $300. Home Depot's gross margin runs about 33%, so the same engine you can buy standalone at Harbor Freight for $150 sits inside a Champion or Westinghouse generator selling for $499 to $799. The engine is 15 to 18% of what you pay. The rest is brand markup, retail markup, and the steel frame around it. You might think the warranty will protect you. It will not. The engine is rarely what fails. The engine is fine. What dies first is everything around it. The carburetor gums up from ethanol after 60 days of sitting in the garage. The plastic gas petcock cracks and leaks. The automatic voltage regulator on the generator burns out the first time you overload it. The pressure washer pump unloader valve fails at about year 2. And when you walk into a small engine shop with a no-name Chinese clone in your truck bed, you will hear the same sentence everywhere. Parts are not available. On the Smokestack forum, a former shop owner wrote, "The two biggest problems I saw were broken gas shut-off valves and recoil starters that did not engage. Less than 1 month old. I would not accept any of those engines in for repair." Diagnostic minimum at most shops is $75. A carburetor swap is $150. On a $400 generator, you are already past half the replacement cost, so you throw it away and you buy another one. So if every cheap generator on the shelf is the same Chinese engine in a different costume, what do you actually buy? You stop shopping like a consumer and start thinking like an auditor. There are exactly 3 engines in this market still worth a premium, and you need to know their names. The first is the Honda GX series. The smaller GC and GCV residential engines are built in Swepsonville, North Carolina. The commercial GX engines, GX160, GX200, GX270, and GX390, are built primarily at Thai Honda in Thailand. They have a cast iron sleeve, a forged steel crankshaft, a ball bearing crank, a dual element air filter, and a 3-year consumer warranty no one in this category matches. You can buy a Simpson PS3228 pressure washer at Home Depot for around $629 with a real Honda GX200 bolted to the front. That is the homeowner's sweet spot. The second is Kohler Command Pro, now sold under the brand name REHL Co. since September of 2024. They are built in Kohler, Wisconsin, and Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Kohler spun off its engine division to private equity in May of last year, but the engines themselves are unchanged. The CH395 and CH440 are the engines you find on commercial Toro and Skag zero-turn mowers running 8 hours a day for 10 years. Cast iron sleeves, hydraulic valve lifters, 3-year commercial warranty. The third is the Briggs and Stratton Vanguard, not the consumer Briggs engine on the cheap Walmart mower. The commercial Vanguard line is built in Statesboro, Georgia, and Auburn, Alabama. It uses a cyclonic 4-stage air filter. It has a 600-hour service interval, twice what Honda asks, and a 200-hour oil change interval. Cold start to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. The best warranty in the industry, 3 years standard, plus 1 extra year if you register it. And here is the honest exception. If you only run your generator 15 to 25 hours a year for a hurricane or a winter storm, the cheap Chinese clone is genuinely fine. Just buy it knowingly at Harbor Freight at the lowest possible price. Buy a Predator at $150 and accept it as a disposable storm tool. Do not pay $600 for the same engine wearing a Champion badge. That is the trap. The era of widespread quality in American small engine manufacturing is over. Tecumseh closed in 2008. Briggs and Stratton filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy on July 20th, 2020 with $911 million in legacy debt and was sold to a private equity firm called KPS Capital for $550 million. Equity holders received zero. MTD, the parent company of Troy-Bilt, Cub Cadet, and Yard Machines, was sold to Stanley Black and Decker for $1.6 billion in December of 2021. 3 of America's 4 heritage builders are now in private hands. The fourth, Generac, has officially confirmed its portable generator engines are not engineered or manufactured in the United States. The deception here is not the engine itself. The engine is generally adequate for what most people use it for. The deception is the opacity. A homeowner walking into a big box store often cannot tell the difference between a real Honda and a Chinese clone, between a $50 engine and a $500 engine. Read the spec sheet. Look for the engine brand name and the model number printed clearly. Walk away from the words 212 cubic centimeter OHV engine with no manufacturer listed. Check the country of origin on the box. And the next time someone tries to sell you a Champion, Westinghouse, or Pulsar generator for $600, remember where that engine actually comes from. If you found this useful, hit subscribe for more stories like this one.